ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop, come on, baby, higher. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop.
Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the week for Tea Time Wagers with good friend and colleague, Mr. Brady Kannon. Go follow him on Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it, at Las Vegas Golfer, and you can always check him out on the Sports Grid as well. This week's headline is the Houston Open, just a two-horse race. Scottie and Rory, the two big favorites here. Scottie at plus 350, Rory at plus 650. So it kind of enticing you there, but I know Brady and I have some other thoughts as we're 1 week closer, of course, to the Masters and Magnolia Lane. Shout out to our proud sponsors and partnerships, Viva Tequila Seltzer, 6 flavors in all, and the East Coast is cuckoo for coconut. WagerWire, the best in the business. Head on over to Google Play. Download the app. It is free. Travis, Zach, Guy, Amber, Holly, Matt, myself. The community is bigger than bigger. Go download the app, and I promise you we'll take great care of you. And last but never least, Atlanta Steaks and Seafood. Jump on over to Facebook. Introduce and follow Mr. Terry Smith. While you're there, head on back to atlantasteaksandseafood.com. Place an order today. You could be grilling by Monday or maybe Friday if he's that quick. We'll see there. So without further ado, Mr. Brady Kannon.
Jeffrey, how are you, my friend? You're right. We're that much closer to that drive down Magnolia Lane and the first major of the season. Of course, the Masters is nearly upon us. We flipped the calendar to April next week and one more stop in Texas before we do head down to Augusta, Georgia. But, I think that feeling now is just about palpable at this point. Like, the players are adjusting their schedules for how they want to go into Augusta. Obviously, Rory and Scottie playing this week. They're not playing next week. A lot of guys are playing next week. You've got the two headliners in this week's field at the Texas Children's Houston Open, and Rory and Scottie. They're not around next week, but next week you've got everybody else. There's a lot of guys that have chosen to play next week to get that 1 week prior tune-up prior to Augusta. But, it's interesting. We've been talking about it for a minute. Well, now things are actually like falling into place. Like guys are making their plans and it's here. It's on at this point.
Shout out to Andrew McGinnis. He says, gentlemen, the weather is changing. That means golf season in my house. Yes. You'll be watching the college hoop games this weekend and nothing but, especially on CBS, you're going to see the commercials for the Masters. Rory took a quick jaunt down to Augusta on Monday to take a look at the course there as he's trying to get the superfecta there. And I'm glowing. The Masters, it's funny. We get the Final Four weekend, Brady, and then Monday night they cut the nets, and then it's just full bore right into the Masters, and a lot of flies in the ointments as Xander Schauffele's got 3 tournaments under the belt. He's gotten the rust out. We're still waiting for Scottie to really be Scottie. Rory lurking, looking like this could be the year for Rory. Oh, and then by the way, we'll add John Rahm, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, and the Live guys. A lot to sort out, Brady.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And let's not forget Cameron Smith, who's been a monster at Augusta over the years in that final pairing with Scottie Scheffler in 2022 when Scottie went on to win his first of 2 green jackets. Joaquin Niemann, red hot on the Live circuit, a winner recently in Singapore, I believe. And he came into the Masters last year, I think, with 2 wins on the Live circuit under his belt as well. Tyrrell Hatton. Yeah, there's probably about 8 guys that'll be over there from the Live circuit that you absolutely have to to take into account. I mean, even Phil Mickelson seems to show up at this golf tournament. It wasn't that long ago. What was it? The year Rahm won, which I think was 2023. Mickelson had a top 5 finish, if I recall, at 50 some years old. So, we've seen that out of guys like Bernhard Langer and Freddie Couples. So, this golf course, never ceases to amaze you, where guys that know the property so well and they're so savvy with all the different little quirks in the fairways and the angles and the lies and where to hit the greens in the proper spot. It feels like until your body just can no longer do it anymore, these guys are still possibly a factor.
So Sunday, I'm leaving Chattanooga. I had a layover in Atlanta. I board my plane at 3:00 as we're ready to take off to head back to Boston, about 2 hours and 20 minutes. Put on my headphones and I turned the golf on, and it was a 2-headed monster, and it was really great to watch Justin Thomas. You could see him kind of really feeling it, making some putts, some fist pumps. And then Hovland said, "Hold my beer. You're not running away from this." And we talked about this via text on 16. Justin, if he could do one thing over, I think he would have left the driver in the bag. Thoughts on the back 9 on Sunday? And Victor Hovland, miscut. And as you said, in some spots, 80-1. The light bulb went on, Brady.
Yeah, and I tried it earlier this year at Pebble Beach. And, it's been a couple of years now that Victor Hovland has been out of form. And we were just kind of waiting for that minute, when he was going to return to form. He's absolutely one of the best players in the world. I mean, he's no doubt about it, a top 10 talent and maybe even top 5 when he is in form, and was in a red hot form just a couple of years ago when he won the FedEx Cup. And so I tried him at Pebble Beach, where that was a course where he's had tremendous success as both a professional and an amateur. And I thought, here's a good spot. And I think I had him at 50 or 60-1, Victor Hovland, right? And he did pretty well. I think he had a top 20 finish, if I recall. But he even said himself, I'm not there. He's like, I'm playing okay, but I'm not close to where I need to be. And a lot of guys jumped on him here at the Valspar because you remember the odds really flipped when the tee times came out and you saw who was looking to be on the bad side of the weather draw. There was so much made about the wind that was going to, blow. Trying to remember how it was. It was going to blow late on Thursday and early on Friday. And the guys that went out early on Thursday and late on Friday were going to have a huge advantage. Their odds plummeted. The other guys' odds skyrocketed. And sure enough, a guy that, was thought to have had drew the short straw, ended up winning the thing. And so, yeah, I think Victor Hovland's odds were in the neighborhood of 40 or 50-1, which we're kind of seeing him at these days. And then when he was released that he had the quote unquote bad tee time, he did get up to like 60, 70, 80-1. And yeah, and I'm kind of kicking myself. Geez, I should have taken a stab. But we've seen that before. When you get a player, it's happened to Justin Thomas as well. When you get a player that is off and they just keep increasing the price, at some point you're like, okay, and I did it earlier this year with Matthew Fitzpatrick, who was like at 100-1. I'm like, wait, this is still a major championship winner from just a couple of years ago. But it worked with Hovland, and I'm really thrilled to see it, because we're kind of still waiting on Jordan Spieth. The more of these guys, the Spieth and the Hovlands and the JT is pretty much back in the fold at this point. But the more of these guys that get into the mix and are right there, chopping it up with the Rorys and the Scotties and the Morikawas and the Schauffele's, the better the game is. So I'm thrilled. Hopefully Victor's back. I hope he doesn't slip again. I hope this, propels him to bigger and better things. And I've been saying it, JT's close. And I'm kind of glad that he didn't win, because I would have really been kicking myself, because I almost landed on him for the Valspar. He did really well at the Players Championship for like half the time. It's like he was either red hot or ice cold at the Players. And I said, I don't really like that Jekyll and Hyde. I'd like to see a little bit more consistency. And then when he came out and looked like he was going to win, I was like, oh gosh, I missed my opportunity. Thankfully I didn't, but yeah, going forward, we probably missed the dumb prices on JT. He was another guy that was on the quote unquote bad side of the draw. And we saw his number, escalate to like 25, maybe even 30-1. So, that's another lesson there. You really got to try and pay attention to the weather, and, don't just put all your eggs in one basket figuring it's going to be that, a certain way. The weather is as predictable as the weather, right? But yeah, we may have missed the boat on both Hovland and Thomas as far as getting real value. But the flip side is I'm glad to see them both looking like they're back to really good form.
And you kind of piqued my interest, because Spieth has shown flashes. It's just the consistency of putting together, not just 18 holes or 36 holes. It's the full 72. A bad hole there or there. We know he's got the magic beans. He's got the touch around the green. He knows the Masters better than most of the people. And in the back, the problem with him at the Masters is that he's the price, the general person that wants a little stake in the Masters pool, you never get a fair price on Jordan Spieth when it gets to the Masters.
Yeah, I think the best I've seen on him is 30-1, which I don't think is bad, but boy, I'd love to see a 40. I think if I saw a 40, I think I'd jump on it. But I think obviously the odds makers aren't dumb either, and they're seeing what you're seeing. They're seeing flashes. And, you remember last year he had the bad wrist all year long, and he played through it. And then, of course, he had the surgery in the off season. And now it looks like he's playing better this year. It looks like he's improved. He always seems to get a kickstart in Phoenix, played pretty well. We've seen a couple of kind of his career or his season rejuvenated a couple different times now in Phoenix at the Phoenix Open. And he did well again there this year. And we'll see what Augusta does for him this particular year. That's all. I mean, his record at the Masters is absolutely incredible. I mean, the number of, obviously he's got a win, he's got runner-ups, the number of top 10 finishes, top fives. He's probably got a more decorated resume at Augusta than just about anybody other than maybe Tiger Woods. So, yeah, I'm rooting for him, because again, I love it. When Jordan is a top 5 player in the world, I think it's a better game.
100%. Texas Children, Houston Open. As I said in the intro, a 2-horse field in the books. Scottie at plus 350, Rory at plus 650, and then the next closest competitor, Aaron Rai, plus 2,800, Wyndham Clark, 3,300, JJ Spawn, 3,500, Jason Day, 3,500, and the list goes on. For the sharper or the more avid golf wagers, it's really tough. Unless you're just going to push all in on either Scottie or Rory. Most eyes flock to further down the board, Brady.
Yeah, I thought about pushing all in on Scottie. And, I didn't really consider Rory, but I backed off both of them for different reasons. Scottie's certainly not in any sort of slump. He's just hasn't been Scottie yet. He's not winning or finishing top 5 every week. He's finishing top 10 and top 20. He's really fallen off, right? But I don't know if he's ready to flip it and win yet. And the other thing is, now we're so close to the Masters that the focus starts to look towards that as well. And these guys really want to be peaking in 2 weeks, not necessarily this week, but guys like Scottie and Rory. Now, you take a few other guys in this field, they're absolutely trying to win now. But Scottie and Rory are trying to win in 2 weeks. I don't know how much they're trying to win this week. And they're going to get into the competition, and they're and especially if they're in the thick of it on Sunday or whatever. But the current form for Scottie, he's done tremendous at this golf course, this golf tournament before. Finished runner-up twice, I believe. Rory's never played here before. And I think for Rory, coming off of the win at the Players, one at Pebble Beach, he's probably even more focused on Augusta. Scottie's, I think, probably focused on really trying to get that game into shape. Rory's game is apparently, evidently, in perfect shape. So, there, and then the price and this and that. So yeah, I didn't land on either. And you know me, Jeff, I've landed on Scottie twice in a row at the Hero World Challenge at prices of 4 to 1 or less. And I said, he's going to win it. I'll eat the chalk, and we've been successful. So, there are times when you're like, I don't care. It's 5 to 1. It's 4 to 1. Scottie's the guy. I didn't feel that way this week. I thought about it, but ultimately backed off. And yeah, the shortest guy I took was 50 to 1, but that's also the luxury we've been afforded this week because you've got the 2 headliners at the top of the odds board. The next closest guy is like 30 to 1.
And it's going to be interesting, as you said, this is 2 weeks before Augusta. Some of these guys will take next week off. A lot of golfers will take the week off before and the week after a major. So it'll be interesting to see from this field how many we'll be talking about next week. So I'm going to turn it over to you, your correlated courses, before we get to your releases.
Yeah, the skill sets that I looked at this week were par 4 scoring. You've got some. This is a hard golf course. The average winning score here. This will be the 5th time that they've played at Memorial Park in recent history. They used to play there years ago. Had a renovation done in 2019. Brooks Koepka actually came in and was a consultant on that renovation with Tom Doak, the designer, and they basically turned it into a major championship prep course. You have those shaved runoff areas around the greens, which are very similar to Augusta. It's a par 70. It's almost 7,500 yards. It's a real beast. The proposition bet for the winning score this week from our friend Jeff Sherman at the Westgate Superbook, 11.5 under par. So, this ain't no birdie fest. Par 4 scoring, strokes gained approach, greens in regulation gained, strokes gained ball striking, bogey avoidance, a big deal when you play a tough golf course, scrambling. These greens are really big, but again, those runoff areas, you'll repel shots down into collection areas like you have at Augusta. And, those really delicate chip shots to get up and down are very, very important. And then hole proximity from 200 yards plus. You're going to have like 30% of your approach shots this week, including the par 3 holes, will be from 200 yards or better. So long iron play is going to be important as well. And as far as correlated courses, a couple that might not jump off the page, I looked at Narashino Country Club, where they play the Zozo Championship in Japan, and then Silverado in Napa, similar, with the green complexes, and the rough here is kind of like Augusta, not real penal, just average height. You can certainly, get good wood on the ball out of the rough here. It's not like a US Open or anything like that. But then also some more obvious connections. Southern Hills, you remember where JT won the PGA in 2022. You had those shaved runoff areas around the greens. Pinehurst, number 2. absolutely similar green complexes there. Winged Foot, a big beast of a golf course. So, those were some of the Renaissance Club, by the way, where they played the Genesis Scottish Open the week before the British. That's also a Tom Doak design with those similar areas around the greens and stuff. So those were the courses I looked at as far as correlations this week, Jeff. And then as far as the rundown, I went with 7 guys in the outright market this week. Also played them each for a top 20 finish. And I'll give you real quick, I didn't like any of the head-to-head matchups the way they had guys paired. I didn't land on any this week, but I looked at Maverick McNeely over Taylor Pendrith. McNeely was even money to Pendrith at -120. And I looked at Nikolai Højgaard, a matchup of the twins here. Nikolai Højgaard is a short underdog over Rasmus Højgaard. And I actually played I didn't end up landing, but I played both of those guys for outrights and top 20. And I'll start with McNeely. Past finishes here of 20th, 19, and 27. He's got a 12th at the Zozo, a 16th at the Scottish, and has been runner-up at Silverado. And we don't always think of McNeely as a big, long hitter, but he's pretty long. And he's also proven that he can handle these big boy courses with the runner-up finish recently at Torrey Pines. Last 36 rounds, 19th in this field for strokes gained ball striking, 30th for approach, 14th on the par fours. We know he's got a tremendous short game. He comes off of 2 missed cuts in a row. He has that near miss at Torrey Pines, misses the cut at Bay Hill, misses the cut at the Players. I like the fact that he's been able to kind of, okay, let's settle down, reset. We've got a major coming up here. I've had success at this course before. I think he's going to have a good week. So I like McNeely. And then Thomas Dietrich, kind of similar to McNeely, a guy that has been a very big hitter, has had success on big boy golf courses, a guy that's had a lot of success at Torrey Pines, and a guy that has a runner-up finish here last year at this very golf tournament, and a guy that has a terrific short game. So the 2 shots that I took, and both of these guys have recent victories as well. I think that's a big deal when you get that first win. Dietrich's first win after many years grinding it out on the DP World Tour and the PGA Tour, wins in Phoenix. And I think the hangover's probably done now. He's been able, there's the celebration after that win, and it's going to take you a few weeks to get back in the swing of things. He too missed the cut at Bay Hill and the Players, but then got back to a reset last week, finishing 22nd at the Valspar. So that tells me, okay, he's ready to move forward again. And then Alex Smalley at 60-1, who I think's been playing the best golf of his entire career. Just made a bunch of sense this week. Multiple top 25 finishes already this season. Does hit it pretty far. Has finished as high as 4th here in Houston before. Also has a 10th place finish at the Renaissance Club for the Scottish Open. Alex Smalley got him at 60-1. Keith Mitchell at 66-1, and I've seen higher. I've seen in the 70s. 10th on the PGA Tour in greens and regulation, 27th in par 4 scoring, and he's finished top 10 here before in 2022. Anytime you've got a long golf course and driving is going to be at a premium, Mitchell's one of your guys. A great ball striker, great driver of the golf ball. And we haven't seen, he's only missed 1 cut all season in 7 starts this year. He's only missed, or I think maybe 8 starts. He's only missed 1 cut. Hasn't been off the page, but he's, had top 20s, top 30s, top 40s, been steady. This could be the right track for him. And I think he's maybe a little bit under the radar. And then Harris English at 80-1. We hit English at Torrey Pines. I go back to Torrey Pines. Torrey Pines is not necessarily a correlated course for me. I think they're very different in style. You've got that big rough at Torrey Pines, and, they don't necessarily mirror each other as far as the layout. But if you can handle Torrey Pines, I have a feeling you can handle this, because they're both big, long tracks. And Harris English, obviously a tremendous amount of success at Torrey Pines throughout his career. He also finished 4th at the U.S. Open at Winged Foot. He's only played here once before, but when he did, he shot 3 of the 4 rounds in the 60s. He is the very best scrambler in the field, tremendous putter, great short game. So we'll see if Harris English can turn the trick for us again here in Houston. Nick Taylor, another winner already this season at the Sony Open, has had great success in Phoenix, has had tremendous success at Silverado, 3 top 10 finishes at Silverado in Napa. Now, his length off the tee is not his forte, but he's a tremendous ball striker and he's deadly accurate. So I took a stab with Nick Taylor at 90-1, and I've seen him even higher. I've seen him in triple digits. And then finally, triple digits for Nikolai Højgaard at 100-1. And again, we go back to Torrey Pines, the guy that finished runner-up here in 2023 and has been in very good form so far this season. Last 36 rounds, he is 6th in this field for strokes gained approach, 4th in bogey avoidance, 10th in hole proximity with those long irons from 200 yards or better. So I think, again, 7 guys, 50-1 or better. I think they've all got a decent shot.
And again, you also played them for all top 20s as well, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. Top 20 finish as well. And some pretty decent prices there as well. When you're starting at 50-1, all these guys are, 2-1 or better to finish top 20.
And next week again, where are we?
San Antonio, I believe, is where it is for the Valero Texas Open, a Greg Norman design, another tough golf course. You're not going to have Scottie and Rory here, but you're going to have a laundry list of stars. We were talking about that at the top. The guys are kind of figuring out how they want to build their schedule leading up to the Masters. And a lot of guys have chosen to play the very week prior, which will be next week. And I believe Morikawa, JT, Hovland, I think, you're going to have more stars in the field next week. You don't have the 2 biggies in Scottie and Rory, but you've got about 15 of those, elite players, I believe, that are going to be in the field next week. So another good precursor for the season's first major coming up on April 10th.
Scroll has been going most of the time here. They know, obviously, on Twitter at Las Vegas Golfer. And what I always do to wrap up this segment, Brady, is tell them, A, where they can find your written work, and B, of course, your schedule on the Sports Grid.
Yeah, the 7 plays for this week. You can find more detailed information there at golf.com, my column for the 7 selections this week. And then we'll talk about it more this evening, coming up at 7:30 Eastern on Sports Grid, and then also just after 10 p.m. on the grid as well.
Well, tell the boys I said hello. Maybe we'll catch up later this weekend. If not, best of luck this week. Enjoy the golf, enjoy the madness, and we'll catch up soon, Brady.
Thanks so much, Jeff.
Brady Kannon, go follow him at Las Vegas Golfer, of course, and make sure you check him out on the Sports Grid. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up. Stay tuned. ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
Welcome to Good Food. At Atlanta Steaks and Seafood, you'll find the highest quality meats from a variety of delicious cuts, tomahawks, salmon fillets, ribeyes, and plenty more to choose from. With an easy-to-use mobile-friendly website, selecting your pick of meat is made quick and easy. And don't forget, worrying about your dinner is a thing of the past. Check out some of the amazing subscription packages that Atlanta Steaks and Seafood has to offer. Fresh steak and seafood straight to your door. Order online at atlantasteaksandseafood.com.
Great way to start the day. Brady Kannon, good friend and colleague at Las Vegas Golfer. Go check out him live on Sports Grid TV tonight at 7:30 and 10 o'clock with Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart. 4 o'clock I get scheduled today, the closing bell with Riley Magnuson. We'll get you caught up in today's market. Talk a little UFC preview. Ask Riley what he thinks about this golf tournament. Tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Adam Trigger will be here from Wager Talk to talk some March Madness here. Maybe we'll ask him a little about opening day in the MLB as well. Then we'll have Tyler Wyatt on at 11:05 to talk more NCAA March Madness. And at 3 o'clock, the return of Lou Finicaro, Fight Night Fortunes UFC. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, and of course, Brady Kannon at Las Vegas Golf, I wish everyone a blessed afternoon. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll catch up to you real soon.